Welcome to Martial Arts Today, a program dedicated to the ancient fighting arts of the Orient, designed to give you insights into the history, philosophy, styles, and celebrities of the martial arts. And now, your host, Joe Robello.
Hi, this is Joe Robello with Martial Arts Today, and we're here with a very special guest. Professor Visitacion. It's a rare opportunity. This man is a legend in the martial arts. And again, sir, first of all, I wanted to say it's a pleasure meeting you, sir.
How do you do?
I'm doing very well, sir. I'll tell you, it's a rare opportunity. I followed your career for the better part of over 20 years through the various martial arts periodicals and magazines. Now, again, the first thing we wanted to ask is, what brings you to Rhode Island today?
Well, the people over here, or one of my master's instructor here, is a member of the family. We call it a family, not an organization.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an incredible family. It's a rare opportunity. Again, until just recently, I wasn't even aware that VJitsu was available here in the Rhode Island area. Again, you're down here doing a series of seminars, a seminar today. Tell me something. How did you begin in doing the martial arts and getting involved in the martial arts?
I remember when I was young, maybe about 10-year-old. I couldn't remember exactly, but around there. Mm-hmm. My brother also was taking Arnis. Arnis yet, because it was my system is Arnis, but we call it Escrima in the Philippines. And my uncles, they used to practice. And you could hear the clack, clack, clack of the stick. But I don't know what it means. And then later on, of course, my brother started to show me something. And I didn't even like it, though. Oh, children are like that, too. Yeah, get out of here. But those words sunk into my mind when I left home. If you want to know where I came from the Philippines, Bacara, Ilocos Norte, in the northern part of Luzon. Our dialect is Ilocano. The Philippines has many dialects. Now the language now is Tagalog. Before the Tagalog, our language was Spanish, Castilian. And then when America took over, then English. So the culture of the Philippines is Oriental, Castilian, and American, of course. And I'm an American now, citizen, because World War II, I joined the army.
I wasn't aware of that. Also, for our general public, Arnis is a term referring to the harness of the Arnis de mano, harness of the hand, and Escrima is a Spanish term for a skirmish that the Spanish would use to describe the Filipino martial arts. Now, after you were in the Philippines, you came to this country, you came to America, and you started to formulate the different concepts that we now know as VJitsu. How did that all come about?
Yeah, well, I go back first when I left home. I left home in 1926, November. Went to Hawaiian Islands, worked in the sugar plantation. I was only 16-year-old, but I had to work in the plantation. But it didn't bother because we live in a hard times in the Philippines. Life is not easy over there.
Oh, definitely. Now, again, you were working in the plantations. Were you influenced by any arts that were in?
Yes, it's good you remind me of that. Some of the people over there are all Filipinos, and they of course, they also practice, but I didn't really had interest. But the mind is picking up when I was young. And I carried that reflection of the practice when I was young, when I came to the United States. And then, of course, in the United States, I stayed in California in 1928. So I stayed in Hawaii 2 years. After 2 years, I went to California. I stayed there until World War II. World War II, I was also inducted in the service. In the service also, we have had some practice over there. With Filipinos, little here, a little there. It's not really what they call real training, but we pick up something.
Right, the basic hand-to-hand combat, as it were, from the military, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, after again, during World War II, you were involved, again, in mentioning the basic hand-to-hand combat, and then what happened after that made you begin to teach and study the arts of, if I'm not mistaken, Jiu Jitsu was one of the first arts that you were involved in?
Well, after World War II, I was discharged. So after the discharge, one of my family, my friend in Hicksville, New York, he said, Florendo, why don't you come to New York? So I came here in I think it was 1945. Then, from then on, I work around. And then, of course, the newspaper, the Laura newspaper here that carries martial art, advertisement, even magazine. So I read them, and then it reminded me of what my brother was telling me about the martial art.
Now, outside of the Orient, with the exception of some GIs and veterans that had come to the United States, how did you become involved studying and teaching here in the United States?
Well, first, I would say that I studied with some of the instructors in New York. Charles Nelson. He was a sergeant in the Army. Yeah. Sigura also. Sigura Academy of Self-Defense. He was a police officer in the service. Yes. And then Hindu philosophy, or martial arts, I should say.
Oh, really? Oh, a relationship with Hindu philosophy.
Regananda is the name of my instructor. Yeah. And even then, while I was learning this, also I studied with Professor Nikai, the author of the Jiu Jitsu Complete.
Right. To many people, one of their first texts ever written in the United States on Jiu Jitsu during the 50s and 60s. Again, many people still use it as a reference guide.
Yeah, he was wonderful. He taught me the soft and hard style. He said, when we used to practice, oh, you're so stiff, Florendo. and he hold my hand, all right, if you strike me, he said, I try to strike him like doing this, and he go with my strike. That's all. And then first I withdraw. When I withdraw, he goes with it, so I'm pinned down. I'm pinned on my chest. Then when I do this, he goes that way. So now I'm again caught.
So he would go with the flow or redirect your action. That's fantastic. Almost many similar aspects. It's amazing when you mention that, because many as a martial artist in many systems, I'll sit there and talk to students about the similarities of what people would consider diverse styles. I'll sit there and say, well, this movement in Jiu-Jitsu is so much like you mentioned, like Tai Chi, the same movement of the yielding with the push hands. We're more alike than we are different. And that's what I enjoyed about your arts and your life, that you've really taken that to heart and really used that in your philosophy. Now, who were some of the other people that you had worked with over the years?
Well, Chikutsu, the author of the book of Tai Chi. You heard of him maybe
of course, by all means.
New York. He taught me also Tai Chi. And I didn't complete the course, but I learned the concept of Tai Chi, going with. And also, of course, one of the Vincent instructor in New York. I have a mental block now. He taught me Wing Chun.
Oh, Wing Chun.
Yes.
Right, Wing Chun Kung Fu, right.
Yeah, it's too bad I don't remember.
Yeah. Now,
but he's not in New York no more. Yeah. So
that wasn't Jason Lau, or who was Moyat, or no, I'm trying to think back
Lau
in the years.
also was my friend. I studied with this instructor.
Okay.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Again, there's so many people that you've trained with over the years. So again, you've studied Tai Chi, Wing Chun, Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, Wing Chun.
What other arts, and of course, Arnis, what other arts were ingredients in the VJitsu formula?
The ingredients now? It's really a correlated art now. The system is taken from different art. And also I took a little karate. Lou Angel, if you heard of him.
Lou Angel.
Yeah. In New York, he was to visit my school. He said, "Good, Professor." He said, he didn't say Professor yet, of course. Wow. But good, you're teaching very well. You're okay. Because I met even Chinese, Tobosa, I met him too, you know.
Oh, Tobosa, really? I wasn't aware of that. Well, you were mentioning
New York.
Well, you were mentioning Lou Angel. Matter of fact, for our regular viewers, our first episode with Jeff Speakman. Jeff Speakman's original instructor was Lou Angel.
Yeah.
It's a small world. Now, again, you had studied with these different instructors. What made you decide to formulate VJitsu originally, as you mentioned before, modern Jiu Jitsu and then VJitsu?
I didn't really formulate, it came natural. Yeah, and I came to know that the philosophy of martial arts are in the same family. Yeah, the different variety of styles, but it's just like music. You know, music has only 7 notes. How many music could you produce?
Exactly. The different types of music, definitely.
How many melodies could you produce? How many rhythmic moves could you produce? And with the dances of the music, you learn rhythm.
Wow, that's a fascinating analogy. Now you've taken, again, VJitsu now in its present form, again, there's been an evolution to VJitsu. How did you come upon the different levels of, how has VJitsu evolved over the years? And what different forms has it evolved?
Well, it evolved only in knowing how to use the eclectic system. Now, if you study judo, somebody attack you, you may throw. He throw, whatever, But then I took karate, like I go back to Lou Angel, Shihan Lou Angel. He teach me how to punch, like knowing how to control the punch and not to control. And that's wonderful because when I practice, I very rarely have an accident. So this variety of styles, when you know judo and then you know karate, you know tachi, you know Paqua. I took little Paqua too a little bit.
Paqua Chang? Yeah.
I took Paqua, circular move. So those art reflected different form, different method. It's just like music. You have, when you use notes, you strike maybe one like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, da-da, 2 notes in one count. Da-da-da, 3 notes. Da-da-da-da. And then it's just like also a band. That if you manage a band, you know how to go with the melody. You slowly go with the music, like if we sing the national anthem. Do you know how to sing? Yeah.
Well,
the national anthem, if 100 people are singing, you will be in
sync with the people singing the melody. Exactly.
Yeah. But now, if you're a soloist, you could sing like, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Now it's different.
Because you're working alone, you're able to put your own individual aspects into it.
Your emphasis. Now in the martial arts also, you use emphasis. If your background is karate, maybe you love karate more than the others, but you're still using the others. Your emphasis is karate. If you're a judo man, a sport judo man, your emphasis is maybe throwing, holding on the ground. Now, if you tachi, different, soft and moving. Paqua, circular.
So in fact, VJitsu has various forms that tailor to the individual.
Yeah.
Because I looking at the various students that you've had over the years, you have various people who have come from karate backgrounds, jiu-jitsu backgrounds, and that's another phenomenal aspect, is that so many people, no matter who I talk to, they sit there and say, have you ever met Professor Visitacion? Have you ever Florendo Visitacion? I said, no, I've never had the pleasure. And regardless of background, everyone sits there and says, that's a master.
Well, also, I give credit to people that had background in the martial art. Because if a karate man come and study my art, he does not throw away his art. He mix it with my art. If you are a Paqua man, you mix up with the Paqua. If judo or karate, whatever, You mix them up. That's why VJitsu is called system of system. And it's not really hard to learn, because you know when you know where the battle points are. It relates to your angles of hitting. Not just 1, 2, 3 and stop, 1, 2, 3 stop. And then, of course, with this method, you overkill in practice. But then again, you overkill in practice, but the law says not to kill. We learn how to be non-violent. The only time maybe that you may kill is when your life is in danger.
How true, how true. You know, there's an interesting phrase you mentioned about how, again, that's another aspect of VJitsu that many people have mentioned to me, that the system many times has, quote, overkill. And I say, well, my instructor, Mr. Parker, would say, there's no such thing as overkill, just overskill.
That's even better.
Now, tell me, again, VJitsu has become a very important art, not only in the New York area, but around the United States, and now again it's expanding throughout the world. What do you, as the founder and creator of VJitsu, what do you feel is the future of your system in the United States and throughout the world? What are your goals for VJitsu?
I think my goal is that I'm trying to train them to be creative, because they cannot be exactly the same. After a while, they may be adding or making some variations or other form, but it came from the same family. Also, the foundation is the same. Like, for instance, there are many cars that you see on the street, on the highways or street. There are many different names, and they do the same thing, but their foundation of invention or technology is the same. Now, the martial arts is the same way.
Right. Oh, definitely. That's a fascinating analogy. You know, I mean, and many times in the martial arts we find that many different masters that we've dealt with through the episodes, that in the higher levels, their philosophies are all very similar. Now, do you have, you know, what would be your message to the average general public, and also to the martial artist? What words of advice would you give them to continue their training in the martial arts?
Well, they will have to have some outline also, a guide. Like, if you go to school, you master grammar. All right, you're a grammarian even when you're still high school. But college, you're further than grammar. When you graduate and you have your profession, you are not a grammarian, but you're indirectly using grammar. Now, the same thing with the martial art. We have what I call academic, like the form, like basic things, like using the notes, and then you know how to compose.
Exactly. That's a fantastic analogy. Well, sir, again, it's a pleasure meeting you. A joy always, sir. And again, on that note, this is Joe Robello for Martial Arts Today. Stay tuned for some more martial arts action with Professor Florendo Visitacion.
Again?
Yeah.
Asa!
No, he did that to me yesterday.
Asa! 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 That's Professor. Asa. 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 Asa.
It feels so better when somebody else is getting it.
At the end,
Professor, just for a general audience, out of pure curiosity, how old are you, sir, if you don't mind my asking?
39. No, I'm just kidding. 84 and a half.
84 and a half, sir?
Yes.
Wow. That's fantastic.
I was born in June 11, 1910.
That's incredible.
I'll teach you. A lot of stuff he gives us, we don't throw away. Number one, see? Okay, now, you got it. Now you push him back, and you hide. And you come back again. But now you got this. One more time. Come in. See? And come back at him. Hide these two. And then add them again. Let's try it.
Take the stick.
Cover all your...
Hold on.
You all right?
Hold the stick right hand. This way.
On my chin.
A quick hit from underneath.
Put it in the other hand.
There. Sweep up the arm. Here. Envelop the arm. That's it. Squeeze together. Good. Turn it over.
Over your leg. Over your leg.
See the movement?
Come in, I can come
You
in.
got additional.
Keep it.
You gotta take that stick right away. Look. Hit.
Now turn this way. Turn this way. Always. Go with it. Go with it. No, lay back. Shock him properly, then you have him and you have his stick. So movement and moving close to where it's coming. See? You hear, see? But don't stay there. Lock his thumb. See? You can add your all the stuff that you keep your stick free so you can move from one point to another. Up again. Proper shocking. See? See? Proper shocking. Don't stay there. Stick got away. So we're gonna use something else. Of course. See? If you don't have a stick, you use everything available to you. Slow it down now. Striking. Moving to the outside. Pointing his thumb down, taking him down. You can add your stick later. Let's go. Go in and drive your man to the floor and take advantage of him when he's hitting the floor and just do him up. First, you got to get past that first point. Number one, you strike him on the hands. You can jam him. Now you go like this and push your body into it. Scissor the leg and break the kneecap. And come up the middle. See? And one more time. If you have time, you can turn them over too. Let's go. Jam. Punch. Push. Scissor, scissor. Break the kneecap, do the middle. The weak points are in the wrist and how you can apply pressure. Palms up, like this, straight up. Right in this area, his wrist is weak. If you put the stick here and you put just a little pressure. You all right? Okay, and this is called handcuffs. You put a little bit of pressure here. Now you slide up the contours of his body and push it out. And you come around and throw it. Raise his head up, go under his chin and go into his jaw. Again. He's assisting me. He put his hands in the position. But sometimes you can get one hand in that position, and that's all you need. Do it again. Watch the pressure. You all right? Now, ride up his shoulder as if you were measuring him and push out. Now, that's only for a second. Then you drop under him. Raise him up and put it under his chin and go into him. Right, Professor? And you can even go here. All right, let's go. These are the handcuffs. But this time, I'm just going to hold on to one and go under and add it to his body and walk him. Okay? And I can put pressure from here by reaching for his collar. Up again. I'm pressing the handcuffs again. I'm just going to hold on to one side and go under and add the stick to the body and walk him. And if you want to put pressure, reach for the collar. All right, let's try it.
Hi, this is Joe Robello back with more martial arts today, and we've just seen an incredible seminar, again, in the art of Arnis Jiu-Jitsu. And again, we're here once again with Professor Florendo Visitacion and also Professor Mohamed. Again, we wanted to talk a little bit, again, with one of your students about the history of VJitsu. Now, sir, how did you get involved in the martial arts and in VJitsu?
Well, VJitsu had a number of outlets, and there was a sensei named Sharif, and he had a judo and also jiu-jitsu class, and Professor would only come on Saturdays, so I made my way up there, and I seen this man, small, throwing people with one finger, so I was surprised. So I said, you know, I knew a little something, let me go up and see how he does it. So he was involved with the school, and only on Saturday, so I came every Saturday faithfully to study with the Grandmaster. But some other people said, well, why don't you come full-time? Why did you only come on Saturday? And so I'm in the VJitsu system. I came full-time, and I've been with it over 28 years. Wherever the professor goes, I accompany him. We do demos together, and it's been a wide range of martial artists that have paid homage to him, and he recognizes every style. So this is my home. This is where I'm at. I'm in the VJitsu, and this is my instructor for over 28 years, and I'm still learning.
Well, that's such a great statement. I mean, that's the key, and that's what I find from many students. And you've taught them all. I mean, everyone, those people familiar with Moses Powell, Sugar Crossan, Robert Crossan, Little John Davis, from the New York area and all around the world. I mean, all of them say Professor Vee is a true master. He's the man. He is the man, and VJitsu is one of the premier martial arts in the world today. Now, you had mentioned a little earlier that you also have a series of videotapes with Panther Productions.
Yeah. Yeah, we have. It was taken in Long Island, and my instructor there, Frank Galante, was my partner, and his students too.
Oh, that's fantastic. So again, VJitsu is growing, and more people around the world will find out about the wonderful art of VJitsu. Now there is, we talked about, there's VJitsu Jiu-Jitsu, there's VJitsu Te, or from, again, Te meaning the ancient term for hand. Right. There's VJitsu Arnis Jitsu, with the Filipino arts.
Yeah, but if I may say one thing, all of the VJitsus are on the hand of the professor. One is the thumb, one is the pointer. Each one of the systems is one of his fingers.
Oh, really? Oh,
I mentioned that in our interview last night.
Oh, that's...
So it's no separate. It's one hand moving in the areas that you can move. Some people can do the Tai Chi. So we have the Tai Chi involved in there. Some people have no knowledge of the sticks, so the stick is open to them. They can train with the sticks. Some people, they love Jiu-Jitsu, but they can't see doing anything. So we have the Kuntao. We have other things that you can do. So it's a wide range, and it allows you to use your imagination. You study the martial art, there's a lot of things involved.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, gentlemen, again, now that we've seen a demonstration of VJitsu, what does the future hold for VJitsu? What are your future plans?
Well, our plan is to help young people or anyone that's interested in martial art, because martial art is not only physical. It's mental, spiritual, and ethical. And we build up good structure of good family, building up children, make them ambitious to be able to help them as they grow older.
Well, on that note, to become a better person, again, through the art of VJitsu. This is Joe Robello for Martial Arts Today. Well, we're back, and we want to pay special thanks and special attention to Professor Richard Petronelli. Mr. Petronelli, it's a pleasure meeting you, sir.
Pleasure.
And again, we wanted to talk to you about how did you come about bringing Professor Visitacion down for today's seminar?
Okay, he's my instructor, first of all. I've been in martial arts for over 32 years. Okay, I got several black belts and several systems. I was introduced to Professor Vee about maybe 10, 12 years ago for the first time. But I've been with him for about 3 years now, and I drive to New York and I train him like maybe 2-3 times a week. And he come up here to help me and to show his knowledge, to spread his knowledge, and share what he has to the world. And I thank him for it. And he's my instructor. He's the teacher of teachers.
Well, on that note, again, we'd like to thank you, and again, once again from Petronelli's
Rhode Island Vianna's Jiu-Jitsu Academy, North Providence, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island VJitsu Arnis Academy. This is Joe Robello for Martial Arts Today. Keep training.